Hello, my fellow investors. If you're a smart person and an intelligent investor, it makes absolutely zero sense for you to listen to a current analysis of some random YouTuber. And it definitely makes no sense to listen to investing advice in the current situation from a random YouTuber. So what's the purpose of this video? The purpose of this video is to speak about when no one's speaking. And I'll get to that into soon. And let me explain myself. Of course, like everyone else, I'm analyzing the current situation, and I have a very strong opinion of what I think is the current situation and what I think is going to unfold in the future. And I'm not going to share with you my thoughts and my analysis because, as I said, I think it makes no sense at all for you as an investor to listen to me. Why? There are people who are much smarter than me. There are people who are much more intelligent than me. There are people who are much more experienced than me. And the people who know the banking system much better than me, and people who know the financial system better than me, those are the people you'd want to listen to, not the people like me. So when I came to this conclusion, I said to myself, there's no point in the world for me to make a video of my analysis in the current situation. I'm giving my viewers absolutely zero value by giving them my insight, my thoughts. And I know I can make a video and I'll probably earn a few more subscribers and grow my channel, but I have no intentions of creating content that has zero value for my viewers. So I scrubbed off the notion entirely of making a video of my analysis for the current situation. But then I asked myself something very simple. There is something that I think is very valuable and no one is speaking about it. And that is what investors shouldn't do and what investors should do. What I mean by that is not what they should buy, what you invest, what you shouldn't invest in, but how to prepare yourself mentally and a few other points that no one is speaking about it. And I think that might have value for my viewers. So I said to myself, this is a kind of content I'm willing to put out for my viewers. So let's get into it. Anyone who's predicting the future and has a very strong opinion says this is what's going to happen. I know for sure this is the current situation. Banks are not going to collapse. Banks are going to collapse. The stock market is going to crash. The stock market is not going to crash. Interest is going up. Anyone who's giving you a very strong opinion, a very specific prediction is one of three things. Either they're a prophet, or they're a liar, or they're stupid. And if they're not a prophet, that leaves only two options. Either they're lying, and they're telling you, I know what's going to happen, and they don't know what's going to happen. Or they're very stupid. They think they know what's going to happen, and they actually don't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen. The smart people, the ones worth listening to, are the people who say this might happen. I think this is a current risk. This should be maybe avoided. Those are people who are worth listening to. And that's what the smart people are going to say. I'll be very happy to hear what Warren Buffett has to say, but I doubt he's going to say anything. And it's because he probably doesn't even know what's going to happen. He's just waiting for a good opportunity, and that's what he's doing. A good opportunity would come, he would buy. If a good opportunity would come. So avoid anyone who's predicting the future. So what's the purpose of this video? I'm not going to do a current situation analysis of the banking system, of the stock market, and I'm definitely not going to give any advice of what to buy or not to buy, what to sell or not to sell. But what I am going to do is I'm going to share my thoughts, what we as investors, how we need to think, how we need to act, how we need to prepare ourselves. I think that's something that everyone is not thinking about. No one is talking about this. No one is thinking about this. How to get the right mindset. So let's get into all the small details. What investors shouldn't do. And there's one thing when, as politicians like to say, never throw a good crisis away to waste. All the politicians going onto the media now and giving interviews, they have an agenda. So avoid politicians. And the second thing is beware of media noise. Media has one thing that they want to do. They want to earn money. And there's a lot of noise going on. So you have to be very wary of the noise. And I think the most important thing is what investors shouldn't do is to suck their thumb. You say, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know this current situation. So I'm burying my head in my sand, and let's see how things are going to unfold. I think that's a very dumb thing to do as a smart, intelligent investor. Okay, so let's get into each thing into more depth. Politicians. It's not only politicians, it's anyone who has a political motive. they're not on the media saying, writing, or speaking about the truth. They're there to push an agenda. Their agenda, or the scream at the other side, whatever it is. Yeah? Don't believe anything they're saying. Don't believe what they're not saying. You can never know what's the truth and what's not the truth. And the best thing, don't even listen to them. Politicians, or anyone who has a political motive, this is the worst time to listen to what they're saying. If you want to listen to them as a political interest, that's something else. But as an investor, just avoid all the politicians. Avoid listening to them. That's the best thing that an investor should do now. And definitely don't invest based on what they're saying and based on their advice. So that's politicians. Now, the next thing is media. A great point about media is that the media has one purpose, one intention, and it's earning money. And to earn money, you can't just make a small segment. So you make a long article, a long video, whatever it is, a long podcast, whatever it is. 90% of it is just noise. Another 10% or 9% is propaganda, or call it whatever we want to call it, assumptions, and anything, not only about the current situation, anything in the media. 90% is noise, 9% is just assumptions, whatever else, only 1% is facts. So you have to take all the facts, whatever you're listening, reading, watching, whatever it is, you have to find the facts and sift out all the noise and all the assumptions and all the propaganda and all everything else. Just the only purpose you want in media right now is just to get the facts. Another important thing is in media is you don't want to read or watch or listen to people who aren't experts on the issue. Now is a good time to listen to financial experts, to economic experts, to banking experts. A lot of people who, there's nothing wrong with listening to them in normal times. Now is not the very smartest time to listen to them because they're not experts in banks, they're not experts in economics. So avoid watching, listening, or reading people who aren't experts on the current situation. Okay, I said the thing that I think is the worst for smart investors is to suck your thumb. And what I mean by that is two things. One is mentally, psychologically. I say, I don't know what's going on, so I'm not doing anything. I'm not preparing myself, I'm not doing anything. And the second part is from monetarily. If you have money you could put aside to invest, or whatever it is, if you're not getting yourself ready, preparing yourself, maybe you have great opportunity. We don't know what's going to happen. But if you're doing nothing, then you might miss out great opportunities, because maybe there'll be great opportunities that you don't know what's going on, you don't have your own opinion. So you might miss great opportunities. And also you might lose a lot of money. If you're going with the herd, you see stock market going up, you're buying, you see stock market going down, you're selling, whatever it is. You might earn a lot of money, you might lose a lot of money. So sitting down and sucking your thumb is a very dumb thing to do. Because if that's what you're doing, so congratulations, you're part of the herd. That's the herd. The herd is doing what everyone else is doing. If you don't have your own opinion, if you don't sit down and analyze the situation when you say, this is what I think, then you're just part of the herd. That's what you are. And definitely that's not the way to become a great investor. A great investor are the people who go against the herd. Now, they don't always go against the herd, but what differentiates them from other people, from other investors, is that they do whatever what no one is doing. And if you're sitting down and sucking your thumb and you say, I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know what's going on, I don't know the current situation, I don't know what's the future, I don't know what's going to unfold, so that's not the way to become a great investor. You have to form your own opinion, your own idea, and then maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. But that's the way to become a great investor. So the next part is, what should investors do? So as I said, we're using the media as some way to get the facts, not the noise. So you have to analyze the facts. You say, okay, you listen to a segment, you watch the video, you read an article. You say, okay, what's out of everything I read, watched, or listened, what's the facts over here? So, okay, this is the fact. I need to analyze this fact as is. The second part is to study history. Say, okay, we know this is the fact. What can we learn from history on these facts? And then the third part is form your own thesis, make up your own opinion. Say, this is what I think the current situation is. This is what I think what's going to unfold. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but you have to form your own opinion. And of course, because you don't know what's going to happen, no one knows what's going to happen, so you have to be in a high alert. Maybe you're wrong. You have to form your own opinion, but you also have to be in a high alert. Maybe you're wrong. And the fifth part is risk management. Because we don't know what's going to happen, because there's very high uncertainty, now is a bad time not to make a risk assessment. Some things are not so bad in normal times when there's low volatility, and in the same exact thing, in a high volatility, in a high uncertainty, it's a bad idea. So you have to make risk management. And the sixth part is to prepare yourself monetarily and psychologically, mentally for great opportunities. If you're not preparing yourself, if you're not getting into the right mindset, we're not in a normal time now, right now. We don't know what's going to unfold, but you have to prepare yourself for great opportunities. And I think the most important part is do not be afraid to be wrong and do not be afraid to make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'll get into every single part of this one by one. So analyzing the facts, studying the history, and forming your own opinion. So as I said, we need the media to find out the facts. A lot of things we can get from the from companies' 10Ks. A lot of things are being, the media is telling us, there's no way to get it besides the media. But you have to divide the facts into assumptions. Take all the noise, put it aside. All the assumptions, just only be focused on the facts. And you take those facts, and the second thing is, you have to analyze those facts with common sense and say, this happened. We know this for a fact. My common sense tells me that this fact means so-and-so. I'll give you an example. The fact is the 3 banks went bankrupt in a week. Now you have to ask yourself common sense. What does this fact tell us? 3 banks going down in 1 week. What does common sense tell us this means, this fact means? Yeah. Now we can take to the next part. We go, this fact, what can we learn from history on these facts? What happened the last time 3 banks went bankrupt in 1 week? Yeah. Whatever it is. Anything is, take the facts, analyze them with common sense, not the noise, not the media, not the politicians, then analyze them based on history. And now, of course, the market is Mr. Market, as Ben Graham used to call him, has no idea what's the truth. And whatever Mr. Market is doing, that doesn't mean anything that that's the truth. So let's say you think there's nothing wrong with the banking system and the stock market is crashing. Don't think because the stock market is crashing, it means something is wrong. And also the opposite. Let's say you think the banking system is in a big jeopardy and the stock market is going up. Don't look at the market as an indicator of any truth. Just leave the stock market, leave Mr. Market, leave a single stock volatility or stock price, leave it aside. Analyze the facts with common sense and make up your own opinion. Now, another important part is, this is I think maybe the best indicator of a great investor versus the average investor, is you have to ask the questions no one is asking. If you're asking what everyone is asking, and you're thinking what everyone is thinking, and you're analyzing what everyone is analyzing, then basically you're the herd. Everyone is asking what everyone is asking, and everyone is thinking what everyone is thinking, and everyone is analyzing what everyone is analyzing. If that's what you're doing, if you're following the herd, then you're part of the herd. You need to be asking the questions that no one is not asking yet. You need to be thinking about the things that no one is thinking about yet. You need to be analyzing what things people aren't analyzing yet. That's going to make you ahead of the curve, and that's going to make you different than the herd. It doesn't mean you're right. But if you're doing what everyone is doing, then you're part of the herd. So sit down in a room, shut down all the media, take the facts and say, okay, this is what it is. Now start asking all the crazy different questions that comes up in your mind. Say, what about this? What about this? What about that? And if you wanted to see it, you can see a very, very simple way that's going on. It's unfolding in front of our eyes. We don't see it so much. Read the media of a week ago. And then read what happened the next day. And the next day, you see, every single day, new questions are popping up. Yesterday, people weren't asking it. It's always people asking after the facts. Okay, what about this? What about this? What about this? You need to be in the part of the people who are asking before everyone is asking those questions. Okay, you're making up your own opinion. This is my idea. This is my thought. This is what I think is happening. This is what I think is going to happen. But maybe you're wrong. So therefore, you have to be on a high alert. Maybe you're wrong. And what that means is, first of all, you have to be constantly looking to learn the new facts and data that's coming out. Again, not the noise, the facts. Say, I think this is the current situation. I think this is what's going to happen. And then the next day you find out a new fact. You say, this fact contradicts my opinion. Yeah? So you have to be in a high alert to see the facts. Are they going along with what you think is happening or going to happen? And a second part is, again, the market isn't an indicator of the truth. Let's say you thought this and this is the situation, and this is what's going to happen. And it happened differently. The market went up or went down, different what you thought. So what? That doesn't mean you were wrong. And also a very important thing is you made up your opinion and now you're starting to think maybe you're wrong. Don't change your mind so fast. One thing is almost guaranteed. If every single day you'll change your mind, then you're probably going to lose money if you're investing based on what you're thinking. So if you made up your opinion and all of a sudden you say, it doesn't make sense so much, things don't look the way I thought it's going to be. Don't change your mind so fast. Wait a second. Okay, so it doesn't mean I thought banks are going to start collapsing and they didn't start collapsing. I thought nothing's going to happen, but all of a sudden it did happen. So what? Don't change your mind so fast. Now, another important thing is risk management. these are unprecedented times, and I think the only advice I'll be willing to give, and I'm not afraid to give this advice, is to be careful of leverage. As usual, value investors don't like leverage, never. But especially in high volatile times and uncertainty, leverage is a bad thing. And also short selling, it will be not so smart of a move to sell short in such times. Even if you're 100% positive something's going to crash, you need to be very, very careful of selling short in such times. And also another thing, which is always just a general advice, is don't risk money you can't afford to lose. It's always a true thing in investing, especially in the stock market. But especially in such times, you can lose money really, really fast if you do the dumb thing and you do the wrong thing. So don't risk money you can't afford to lose. And even if you do the right thing, let's say you bought a stock and you were right. It was the stock, the bank, or whatever it is, didn't go bankrupt. But it might still take you 3-4 years to cover your money or to earn a lot of money. If you need the money in the near future, then don't risk that money. Even if you think it's a great, great, great opportunity. You have to be very, very careful of risking money you can't afford to lose. Okay, so preparing yourself for great opportunities, what does that mean? First of all, if you have money that you have aside, now is a good time to put it aside for investing. Let's say you plan to make some kind of trip. Maybe it'll be a good time to think maybe it'll be better to invest this money right now than going on a trip. Or whatever it is. Now is a good time to put money aside and prepare it for investing. Maybe you have a great opportunity. If you have money aside and the opportunity presents itself, you'll be able to invest. If you don't put money aside, then even if you find a great opportunity, you might not have money to invest in it. Another thing is preparing yourself mentally is avoid short-term mindset. And what I mean by that is people see a stock going up 30%, going down 40%, say, wow, I could have made 30-40% in a single day in 2 days. And we all want to earn money. And if your mindset becomes short-term, and I'm not saying you can't earn money short-term, but if your mindset becomes short-term, what happens is you stop thinking long-term. It's very, very hard to have also a short-term mindset and also a long-term mindset at the same time. It's very, very, very hard. So if you're looking at the short-term gains of 30-40% in a day or two, you lose the long-term thinking. And the really, really big money over here could be done in long-term. If you buy a great, great opportunity, you could think about 30-40% a day. You might make a 10, 20, 30 bagger in 5-10 years. So if you become short-term oriented, you're losing the long-term investment. I think the most important part is do not be afraid to make a mistake and to be wrong. It's unbelievable how people are afraid to share their ideas to their friends and family and what they think because maybe they'll be wrong and people will laugh at them. There's nothing wrong with making a mistake. There's no human being since the beginning of humankind that did not make a mistake in his life. In anything, we make mistakes in the family, in friends, in work, and everything it is. There's nothing wrong with making a mistake. And there's nothing wrong with making a mistake in investing. And even if you do make a mistake, so what? You make a mistake, you learned from it, and you became a better investor. So what? Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And the most important part is, if you're afraid to make mistakes and you're not willing to be wrong, you never become a great investor. Never. Every investor who wants to become great has to be willing to make mistakes. He has to be willing to be wrong. If you jump into the wood and say, okay, this is what I think. If you want to become a great investor, every time you made the right thing, you went up the ladder in becoming a better investor. Every time you made a wrong decision, you went up the ladder because you learned a new thing. If you're not willing to make mistakes, there's no way in the world you ever become a great investor. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Don't be afraid to make up your own mind, to form your own opinion. So what? You were wrong, so what? Nothing happened. You just became a better investor. Thank you very much and hope you enjoyed this video. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button and to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.